Let's be real for a moment. Intimacy is beautiful, it's powerful, and is one of the deepest ways two people can connect. But at the same time, it can also be a window into truths that most people don't want to talk about. The position someone prefers in bed can reveal not just what they enjoy, but also their past experiences, the things they've tried, and the level of comfort they carry with their body and their sexuality. And while there's nothing wrong with having a history, you should never ignore what that history could mean for you, your relationship, and your future. When a woman seems overly skilled or insists on specific positions that require practice, flexibility, and experience, it's worth asking yourself where that came from. Sexual confidence doesn't appear overnight. It's built from repetition. It's shaped by time, by partners, and by encounters. And while some people naturally learn faster than others, the truth is if she's moving with too much precision, if she's introducing things that surprise you, she might not be new to any of it. That's not about judgment. It's about awareness. Certain positions demand trust, comfort, and a willingness to push boundaries. If she not only loves them but initiates them without hesitation, it signals that she has explored them before, possibly many times. And if she's mastered them to the point that it feels routine, it means she's already crossed that line long before you. Again, it doesn't mean she's wrong for having a past, but you should be cautious about blindly investing your emotions while ignoring what her preferences are telling you. Remember, intimacy isn't just about pleasure, it's about truth. It exposes the hidden sides of people that they don't always admit openly. Some women use their sexual skills as a mask, as proof of passion, while hoping you'll overlook the signs of experience. That's why it's important to pay attention, not with suspicion, but with clarity. Because love is not just about what happens in the bedroom, it's also about honesty, loyalty, and transparency. And here's the reality. A woman who has been with many partners might carry more than just memories. She could carry emotional baggage, expectations, or patterns that were built over years of trial and error. You need to know if what she's offering you is genuine connection or just another performance she has rehearsed before. Don't be blinded by pleasure. Don't confuse her skills for purity. Protect yourself, your heart, and your health by seeing intimacy for what it really is, a reflection of choices made long before you entered her life. So here's my message to you. Enjoy intimacy, cherish the moments, but never stop paying attention to what's really being revealed. Don't let physical satisfaction cloud your ability to recognize patterns and truths. If you want a relationship built on trust, then it must be built on honesty first. Ask the questions, read the signs, and protect yourself from walking blindly into something that could cost you more than you're ready to give. Now take this seriously. Don't just chase pleasure, chase truth. Don't just seek intimacy, seek honesty. The choices you make with your heart and body will shape your future. Pay attention, protect yourself, and never let desire blind you to reality. When you see someone move in the bedroom with ease, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement and forget what that kind of skill really means. Skill in sex, especially in positions that require balance, flexibility, or strong rhythm, doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's not something that a person figures out after just one or two encounters. Sexual fluidity comes from trial, error, practice, and repetition, much like any other skill in life. The way someone tilts their body, the smoothness in their transitions, or the confidence in how they direct the moment all suggest that they've done this before, more than once, and likely many times. Pleasure doesn't lie, and experience has a way of showing itself without words ever being spoken. Think about it for a second. The first time anyone tries something new in bed, there is hesitation, there is awkwardness, and there is usually laughter mixed with curiosity. That's natural because our bodies are adjusting to something unfamiliar. But when a woman enters a position with no hesitation, finds her rhythm quickly, and even guides you into the motion, she's not learning. She's already mastered. That mastery comes from exposure, from repeating the same moves with different partners or over time. It's not about shaming her for being experienced, but about understanding that her knowledge didn't just come from instinct, it came from a history of practice that made her this comfortable. The truth is, sexual skills grow the same way athletic skills do. Nobody gets on a bike and rides smoothly the first time. Nobody picks up a musical instrument and plays it like a professional after just one try. Sex is no different. The body remembers, the mind adapts, and over time those little corrections turn into seamless performance. When a woman can control her breathing, move her hips in perfect sync, and hold challenging positions without struggle, you're not dealing with someone who's new to intimacy. You're dealing with someone who has been through the process enough times that her body has been conditioned to move like this almost automatically. And here's the thing many men overlook. They confuse her skill for natural compatibility. They assume she's just that good because of the connection they share. But if you strip away emotion and look at it logically, that level of precision only comes from repetition. You may be enjoying her movements, but those same movements could be the result of her exploring the same positions with others long before you. That's why you should pay attention instead of falling blindly into the illusion that this is unique to you. It might feel special, but skill is rarely exclusive. It's a reflection of history. Most of the time, women who have gained this kind of expertise didn't just stop at one or two experiments. They tested, they explored, they returned to what worked, and they perfected it over time. Each partner might have given her a new perspective or a new way to refine a move. By the time she's with you, you're experiencing the polished version, the one that has been adjusted and refined through years of practice. It's not something you taught her, even if it feels like she's aligning perfectly with you. It's something she learned long before, and she's now applying it with you because it's part of her sexual toolkit. And notice how her body language often gives it away. There is no fumbling, no awkward adjusting, no uncertainty in where her hands or legs should go. Instead, she slips into the motion like it's second nature, as if her body has rehearsed the move dozens of times. That kind of confidence is seductive, but it also tells a story. A beginner doesn't look that polished, doesn't hold eye contact with that much certainty, and doesn't move like every step is choreographed yet natural. You're not just seeing a moment of intimacy, you're watching the result of countless moments she's lived before you. Even the smallest details reveal her past, how she shifts her weight so you don't lose balance, how she adjusts your angle without you asking, how she anticipates your movement before you even react. Those subtle touches aren't accidental. They come from experience, from knowing what usually happens in that position and how to make it smoother. The body learns patterns, and once it does, those patterns repeat with ease. When you see her doing things that seem effortless, what you're really seeing is a performance shaped by time, practice, and familiarity with the act. So when you're in that moment, caught up in how good it feels and how naturally she moves, don't forget what her skills represent. They represent hours of experience, layers of repetition, and a journey that didn't start with you. It's not about doubting her, but about being aware of what her fluency means. Because intimacy isn't just about what you're experiencing now, it's also about what her body has been through to reach this level of mastery. When you think about the positions that require the most trust, they aren't the ones where the body is still or the movements are predictable. They're the ones where balance, exposure, and vulnerability are all in play at the same time. A woman who embraces those positions without hesitation is revealing something important about herself. She has been there before. She knows what it feels like to be in that spot, and her body doesn't freeze up because the experience isn't new to her. That type of comfort doesn't usually come from imagination or theory. It comes from doing it over and over until her mind and body stop questioning the process. Every person remembers the first time they try something bold in bed. There's a pause, a nervous laugh, or a look for reassurance. That's natural because intimacy at that level requires breaking through self-consciousness. But when a woman shifts into a vulnerable position like it's nothing, guiding you without awkwardness, it's because she has already crossed that barrier many times. She doesn't hesitate because she doesn't feel exposed anymore. That sense of ease comes from repetition and from conditioning herself to see that kind of intimacy as routine instead of risky. It's the difference between someone dipping their toes into the water for the first time and someone who swims every day without thinking twice. You can also see it in her body language when there's no hesitation in how she spreads, lifts, or bends. It's a clear sign that this is not foreign territory. The way she positions herself, the way she uses her hands to adjust, or the confidence with which she moves into place all reveal a practiced familiarity. For someone new, these moments are awkward and tentative. For someone experienced, they flow naturally as if they're part of her regular repertoire. That confidence isn't just sexual boldness, it's muscle memory built over a long period of repeating the same actions with different partners. The psychology of this is important too. Vulnerable positions require a high degree of trust in a partner, but if she's offering them without hesitation early on, it's not because she suddenly decided you earned that trust in an instant. It's because she's already normalized that level of exposure through her past. Her brain no longer sees it as a barrier. It sees it as just another part of the experience. That shift in perspective comes only when the act is no longer rare. It shows that what might feel special to you has likely been something she has practiced enough times that it no longer feels risky to her. It's not just about how she moves, but also how she reacts. A woman who is new to a vulnerable position will be cautious, hyper aware of her body, and might even need reassurance while doing it. An experienced woman will relax almost instantly, breathe steadily, and let herself move freely. That comfort level is something that cannot be faked. It's the result of training herself to accept and enjoy these moments without fear. If she's able to offer herself without signs of tension, it's because she has worked through those nerves in her past experiences until they disappear completely. Another thing to notice is how she takes control of the moment. Instead of waiting for you to lead or hesitating before trying, she might guide your hands, adjust your angle, or tell you exactly how to move. That kind of instruction doesn't come from imagination, it comes from familiarity. She knows what works, she knows what feels good, and she knows how to make the act smoother because she's learned those lessons before. If she seems like a teacher instead of a student, it's a sign that she has walked that path repeatedly. That knowledge comes from exposure, not guessing. Even her level of enjoyment can reveal her experience. A beginner might be too distracted by self-consciousness to fully lose herself in the moment, while someone who has practiced the same position countless times will be able to give in completely. She doesn't have to worry about how she looks or whether she's doing it right because she already knows the rhythm. Her pleasure feels effortless because her body is already used to moving in those ways, and her mind is free to focus only on the sensations instead of the mechanics. That kind of ease doesn't show up early, it's built through layers of practice. When you put all of this together, the picture becomes clear. A woman who leans into positions that demand exposure, balance, or total trust without hesitation is someone who has been there enough times that it no longer feels like crossing a line. Her movements are smooth, her confidence is high, and her comfort level is unshakable. What you're witnessing isn't new discovery, it's familiarity showing itself through her body and her ease. There's an important difference between someone discovering something new in bed and someone repeating something they already know well. Discovery looks clumsy, curious, and sometimes even hesitant because the body hasn't been trained yet. Routine, on the other hand, looks smooth, polished, and almost effortless. When a woman flows into love positions without pause, when her body knows exactly how to adjust or transition without needing guidance, that's not the mark of experimentation. That's the mark of routine. And routine only comes from practice, from doing the same movements often enough that they become second nature instead of something she has to figure out in the moment. You can see this in the way she moves. A beginner will stop to think, ask questions with her body language, or need reassurance before continuing. Someone who's familiar will slip into the motion like it's muscle memory. She knows how to position herself, how to angle her hips, and how to control her breathing so she doesn't tire out too soon. These little details are signs of experience. They don't come from reading about sex or imagining it, they come from doing it repeatedly until the body learns what to do automatically. That's why her movements may look so smooth. They've been rehearsed many times before. Even the timing of her rhythm can give her away. A woman who is new might move too fast, too slow, or lose coordination while trying to find what works. But a woman who has been in that position countless times knows exactly how to pace herself. Her rhythm matches yours almost instantly, and she anticipates what's about to happen before it even does. That level of sync is not coincidence, it's learned behavior from experience. If she seems like she's reading your body with no effort, it's because she has trained herself to recognize patterns that show up in these moments over and over again. The transitions are another clue. When she shifts from one position to another without awkward fumbling, without stopping to think, and without breaking the flow, that shows familiarity. People who are new to certain positions usually need a moment to reset or figure out the mechanics. But someone experienced doesn't miss a beat, almost as if she's rehearsed the sequence before. That smoothness can feel intoxicating when you're with her, But if you step back and think about it, it also raises the question, how many times has she practiced these exact movements to make them look so effortless now? Even her body's adjustments reveal history. For example, the way she balances her weight to avoid strain or how she shifts slightly to keep the angle just right. Those adjustments aren't guesses, they're learned from trial and error. She knows what will make her comfortable and what will keep the act going without interruption. That knowledge doesn't show up overnight, and it doesn't come from one or two experiences. It's the kind of wisdom the body builds after repeating the same scenarios many times until it figures out the shortcuts that make everything smoother. There's also a psychological side to it. For many people, trying something new comes with nerves and second guessing, which shows in their hesitation. But routine eliminates that. When she seems calm, unshaken, and completely confident in her movements, it's because she no longer feels like she's crossing into new ground. Her mind already knows what's going to happen, and she trusts her body to follow along without mistakes. That mental certainty is one of the clearest signs that the position she's showing you isn't new for her. It's familiar territory she's entered many times before. Another layer to consider is how she responds during those moments. Someone experimenting might laugh nervously, lose balance, or even ask if they're doing it right. Someone who has made a routine out of it doesn't need that feedback. She reacts with ease, adjusts without breaking rhythm, and carries herself like she's completely comfortable. Her reactions are smooth because they've been shaped by repetition. If she seems too natural in the moment, it's not luck. It's experience that has polished her responses into something that looks instinctive. When you put all these details together, it's easy to see the difference between discovery and routine. Discovery is messy, sometimes awkward, and filled with hesitation. Routine is polished, confident, and almost too smooth to be new. If her body moves like she's rehearsing a dance she already knows by heart, then it's not discovery you're witnessing. It's the comfort of someone who has practiced these exact positions enough times that they've become second nature to her. Passion and performance can look identical in the bedroom, but they are not the same thing. Passion is raw, unplanned, and driven by a genuine emotional and physical response. Performance, on the other hand, is practiced, intentional, and often built from habits developed with different partners over time. When a woman displays impressive skill in certain positions, the question becomes whether she is truly consumed by desire in that moment or if she is simply drawing from a routine she knows will impress. The difference can be subtle, but it matters because one reflects how she feels with you while the other reflects what she has done many times before. A passionate reaction usually has small imperfections that make it feel real. The way she gasps unexpectedly, loses rhythm for a second, or grips you without thinking, those are signs of genuine desire that can't be rehearsed. Performance, however, is often too smooth. If she moves without error, adjusts perfectly, and seems almost like she's acting out a scene, you have to consider that this might not be new passion. It might be a role she has played before. Performance is convincing because it is designed to be, but once you look closely, you notice how controlled it actually is. When a woman is performing, her focus might not even be fully on you. Instead, she is relying on what she knows works, using practice movements to create an illusion of passion. This is why some men confuse performance for being an amazing lover, when in reality, they are experiencing her perfected skills from previous experiences. The problem is that performance can mimic passion so well that it blinds you. You think her reactions are unique to you, but in truth they could be the same routine she has repeated with others. That's where awareness is important, because otherwise you might mistake familiarity for chemistry. The sound of her voice can also be revealing. Genuine passion is unpredictable. Her moans shift with intensity, her breath shortens without her controlling it, and her tone changes as the moment builds. Performance, however, is steadier, more predictable, almost as if she's delivering a script. She knows when to raise her voice, when to sigh, and when to act like she's overwhelmed because she has rehearsed it enough times to know how it sounds to a man. This doesn't mean she isn't enjoying herself, but it does mean her reactions may not be purely spontaneous. The way she takes control is another indicator. In true passion, control often switches naturally, with both partners adjusting to each other's energy. In performance, however, her control feels intentional, like she knows exactly what to do because she's practiced it. She might lead you into specific positions or movements with confidence that seems too rehearsed to be driven by pure desire. If it feels like she's playing out a script instead of letting the moment flow freely, that is a sign of performance. Passion is messy and unpredictable, while performance is precise and polished. Even eye contact can tell you which one you are experiencing. In passion, her eyes might lose focus, close unexpectedly, or dart away when the sensation overwhelms her. In performance, she may hold eye contact deliberately, as if she knows it heightens the moment, but without the raw vulnerability that comes with being fully lost in the experience. That type of controlled intimacy feels powerful in the moment, but once you think about it, you realize how carefully it's placed. Passion comes from losing yourself. Performance comes from knowing how to appear like you have. You can also notice it in her energy after the act. Someone who was caught up in genuine passion will often need a moment to recover, to breathe, and to come back from the intensity of what they just felt. Someone who was performing can switch gears quickly, almost as if nothing happened, because their body wasn't actually lost in the moment. It was busy delivering what they know looks and feels impressive. That quick transition is another sign that what you saw might have been more about skill than about raw desire. The challenge is that performance isn't necessarily bad, but it creates an illusion. It convinces you that her passion is unique to you, when in reality much of what you're experiencing could be a well-practiced routine. If you can't tell the difference, you risk believing that every move, every sound, every glance is proof of her desire, when it might just be proof of her experience. Passion is about truth in the moment. Performance is about showing you what she knows you want to see. Every sexual experience leaves more than just a memory. It leaves an imprint on how a person connects, how they respond, and what they expect from intimacy. When a woman has been with many partners, that history can shape the way she approaches sex with you, whether she realizes it or not. Her body might be fully present in the moment, but her mind could be carrying patterns learned from the past. These emotional marks can influence everything, from the way she initiates certain positions to how she reacts during them. Experience teaches not only physical skill but also emotional habits, and those habits don't disappear when she enters something new. One of the clearest ways experience shows itself is in comparisons. A woman who has been with multiple partners may unconsciously measure what you do against what she has already felt before. She might not say it out loud, but her reactions can give it away. If she adjusts you into a certain angle quickly, it may be because she learned it worked with someone else. If she avoids something, it could be tied to a past encounter that left her uncomfortable. These subtle behaviors are not about the moment itself. They are echoes of her past shaping the present. That influence is hard to see unless you pay close attention to the details. Expectations are another form of emotional residue. A woman with a wide range of experiences often carries a mental script of what intimacy should look like. She may come in with clear ideas of what she wants you to do, how long it should last, and even how you should respond. This isn't always about you. It's about what she has learned to expect from others before you. That script can make the encounter feel less spontaneous because she's not discovering with you, she's repeating patterns she already knows. For a man, this can be confusing because it feels like she's leading with confidence when in reality she's leaning on a history of repetition. Then there's the emotional detachment that sometimes comes with too much experience. When someone has shared their body with many partners, they may learn to separate physical pleasure from emotional connection. That detachment can show up in subtle ways. She may enjoy the act but avoid deeper intimacy afterward, or she may engage passionately without letting you in emotionally. It's not necessarily intentional, but it's a defense mechanism built over time. The more someone repeats intimacy without lasting emotional bonds, the easier it becomes to separate one from the other. That separation can leave you wondering if her passion is truly about you, or if it's just about the act itself. Even the way she communicates can carry marks of her past. A woman with high experience might skip certain conversations that beginners would have, like asking if you're comfortable or clarifying what feels right. Instead, she moves like she already knows the answers because she has learned them before. This can make her seem more confident, but it can also reveal that what she's doing isn't unique. It's something she has repeated enough times to eliminate the need for questions. That automatic certainty often comes not from new exploration, but from established patterns. Emotional marks also show up in her level of control. If she's to partners who let her take charge, she may bring that same dominance into your intimacy. If she's been with men who were more controlling, she may fall naturally into a submissive role without question. These roles aren't created by you, they're shaped by her past and then projected into the present. When you see her slip into a role so quickly, understand that it's not just about chemistry, it's about the habits she has carried from previous encounters. That's why some behaviors feel immediate instead of developing gradually. Her ability to hide or show vulnerability can also reveal history. A woman who has been hurt in the past might hold back emotionally even when her body is fully involved. Another who has been celebrated for her sexual skills may exaggerate her performance, treating intimacy like a stage where she knows what gets applause. Both are examples of how past experiences carve emotional marks that stay alive in the present. What looks like natural behavior is often the result of conditioning, shaped by years of trial, error, and repetition with different partners. Over time, these emotional patterns build into a kind of muscle memory of the mind. Just as her body learns certain positions from repetition, her emotions learn certain responses from past connections. If she expects passion to fade quickly, she may already anticipate that outcome with you. If she's used to partners losing interest after sex, she may keep her guard up no matter how much you try to connect. These invisible habits are just as powerful as physical skills, and they influence your intimacy in ways you might not even realize. When you notice her preferences and her reactions, you are also noticing the marks of her past that still shape her present with you. Great sex has a way of clouding judgment. When the body is caught up in pleasure, the mind often takes a back seat, and that's where people start ignoring the obvious. A woman who seems incredibly skilled, who knows how to move with precision, and who brings out positions with ease, might make you feel like you found someone truly unique. But you need to pause and ask yourself if that satisfaction is distracting you from reality. Pleasure is powerful, but it should never blind you to the truths being revealed in front of you. Her skill may not be a gift only for you. It could be the result of years of practice with others. In the heat of the moment, it's natural to think everything is genuine and exclusive. The intensity of her touch, the way she responds, the rhythm that feels perfectly in sync with yours, all of it convinces you that what you're sharing is rare. But step back for a second and consider that skill doesn't come without history. If she seems too polished, if she never hesitates, if she never fumbles even a little, then you're not witnessing discovery, you're witnessing mastery. And mastery means she's been there many times before. Great sex can make you overlook that truth, but ignoring it doesn't make it any less real. This is where many men fall into a trap. They confuse sexual satisfaction with emotional security. Just because she makes you feel good doesn't mean she's invested in you the way you hope she is. If you let pleasure dictate your judgment, you risk building trust on a foundation that isn't solid. You need to ask yourself whether you're in love with her or if you're just in love with how she makes you feel in bed. The difference is huge, and if you don't recognize it, you could find yourself blinded by passion while ignoring warning signs that are right in front of you. Red flags often appear in the middle of the pleasure you enjoy most. Maybe she moves like she's done it all before. Maybe she avoids deeper conversations. Maybe she treats intimacy like a performance rather than a connection. But because you're so satisfied physically, you might push those thoughts aside. That's the danger of letting your body control your perspective. The more your senses are overwhelmed, the less you notice the patterns that reveal who she really is. Desire is powerful, but when it overrides awareness, you start living in illusions instead of truth. Even the way she reacts afterward can tell you more than the act itself. If she can switch off intimacy quickly, if she doesn't need time to recover, or if she moves on without any real emotional trace, that's a sign she's used to treating sex as just another routine. But when you're too caught up in how good it felt, you might excuse those behaviors as nothing. That's where the blindness happens. Your focus on pleasure stops you from seeing how her patterns don't match the emotional closeness you expect. Your health, both physical and emotional, depends on more than just satisfaction in bed. If you ignore the truths her actions are showing you, you might risk more than your heart. A woman with a long history carries not only habits and routines, but sometimes also risks you can't see immediately. When you're blinded by the thrill, you don't think about what she may have carried from her past, whether that's emotional baggage or physical risks. Protecting yourself means keeping your awareness sharp, even when your body is telling you to relax into the moment. The most seductive illusion is believing that great sex equals great love. That's where many people mistake intensity for intimacy. Intensity can be created through skill, rhythm, and experience, but intimacy requires honesty, trust, and vulnerability. If you let yourself believe that the heat in the bedroom is proof of loyalty outside of it, you're letting desire blur reality. That blindness can cost you more than you realize because you're building trust on moments of passion instead of on consistent truth. This is why awareness matters so much. The body can be tricked by sensation, but the mind has to step in and recognize patterns. If she moves too easily into advanced positions, if she performs too flawlessly, or if she treats sex like a script, those are signs that her experience runs deep. Don't let pleasure convince you that everything is pure and unique. If you want to protect yourself and build something real, you have to see beyond the immediate satisfaction and pay attention to what her behavior is telling you.